Welcome guys to another episode of Match Report, and in this one it will be a special occasion because it is the Manchester Derby and it happened today on the 9th of December 2012 at the Etihad Stadium. As you know, going into the game, United were 3 points ahead in the table, so it was a pivotal game. Although it is early in the season and it is only December and the title isn't decided until May, it would have a psychological advantage to the Reds if they were going to go to the Etihad, where we were defeated twice by City last season, and ultimately that 6-1 defeat at Old Trafford did have a detrimental effect on our challenge to the title, and that was always a disadvantage and proved that I think Man City were a better team last season by the results that they had against us. But so again, today was a huge challenge, and thankfully we snatched it 3-2, and it was a really good performance over from the team, and I'll be going over it in detail in a minute. So first of all, let's go over the teams, and it was exactly the same team that played against Chelsea. So I think this is a tried and tested formula for Sir Alex, who I think it was almost a free shot of it. He had put an attacking team in order to salvage anything from the game. He knew that if he were gonna just packed out in the midfield, it would be like last season where we went down without really a fight to City and lost 1-0 without a shot on target. So this season, Sir Alex hoping to avoid kind of similar stats from last season, so he went for the same team, and in goal, David De Gea got his place back in goal. I don't know whether Lindegaard would have started or not, but because his wife or girlfriend had gone into labour, so De Gea was the only choice today. The back four, a very consistent back four: Raphael, Rio Ferdinand, Johnny Evans, and Patrice Evra. And the big surprise would be the returning of Antonio Valencia, who came back after injury, even though Sir Alex had ruled him out earlier during the week. I think that's a bit of tactical or mind games that Sir Alex had played there. Mike Carrick and Tom Cleverley in the central midfield. I think that's a really good combination. Carrick with his kind of defensive qualities and Cleverley's energy would help in going forward to give a bit more impetus as he can run past the ball as well. And then Ashley Young on the left hand side, Rooney just behind Van Persie. So again, the same team that I played against Chelsea. So it was a got attacking lineup with, I think, emphasis on the wide areas, and especially Antonio Valencia's side, who I don't think he has had a bad game really all season. He has troubled most left backs in the league, and I think it was a big bonus to have him back, as well as his defensive qualities as well, to protect Raphael from the dangers of David Silva and players of such quality. And I have to say, City started really well. We weren't in the game for the first 10-15 minutes because of how they kept possession, and we were under immense pressure, I have to say. But contrary to the past performances from our defence, we actually played really well, stayed compact, and I think the work rate of Ashley Young and Rooney has to be stated, where they closed the ball really hard up the pitch, meaning that when it got to the midfield, there was a lot less space for the tricky David Silva to operate and pull off his magical passes and etc. like that. And I thought De Gea commanded really well, came out, caught a ball or two, and also punching when necessary. And it was wasn't when he was flapping or anything. He really commanded his area really well today as well. But for the first 10-15 minutes, we were really under the cosh from City, and I thought we were shade fortunate that we reduced them to very few chances. And there wasn't any significant saves that De Gea had to make within this period. And against the run of play, against in these big matches, we took the lead with Rooney on the 16th minute after great work from Ashley Young and Van Persie down the left-hand flank. Ashley Young flicking the ball over the top of his head. Van Persie then chested it back into Ashley Young's path, who strided down the left-hand side, giving it to Rooney, who was one-on-one with Gael Clichy. expertly cut across the ball and then, miskicked the ball would be an unfair criticism or quote to, say the quality of Rooney's finish, but it was a lucky kind of like shot, if you like, and it trickled into the net. It's one of these shots that, it trickled so slowly that it gave the goalkeeper really no chance, and Joe Hart, he was flat-footed, and because it going so how precise it was into the corner gave him no chance, and especially after it went through Barry's legs as well. So 1-0, and I said against the run of play, and after that we settled really, really well into the match. I think obviously the first goal in any big game is going to be a big factor in the end result, and it was a really refreshing way that we took the lead, and I think it proves our form in the big games this season, and the attacking lineup that Alex has picked once again hasn't let him down because of how we started, and the kind of like wing play again was really prominent, and that obviously resulted in Rooney's goal. And then on the 29th minute, Rooney again getting another goal after great work from Antonio Valencia and Rafael down the right hand flank, getting around Clichy, and he pulled it back. Rafael pulled it back to Rooney, who calmly slotted past Joe Hart, and again Joe Hart didn't have a chance. Good work down the flank, so I think that obviously paying dividends from Alex to pick those two wide players in these sort of matches where because of the way and the style Man City and Chelsea are pitting for, where they have a lot of small, diminutive type of players who like to cut on the inside and work the intricate play. They are less prepared to run back and track, and I think that's the second goal was evident on that, because David Silva, he had to track Rooney back, but he didn't. So Rooney had a good yard and a half of space, and that enabled him to get on the ball and provide a finishing touch. And because of on the half hour mark we took the 2-0 lead, it was pivotal, the next goal, and we held out to half time thankfully, because I think it was before half time it would have shifted the momentum slightly to City, and you'd never know what would happen, but we held on into the second half. But Johnny Evans had to go off actually on the, I think, 55th minute because of a hamstring injury. Tevez coming on for City actually changed the game as well, because of just from what we saw of him, very tenacious and workmanlike, and again it paid dividends when City grabbed one back after great work from Aguero and Tevez. Tevez had a shot, De Gea with a great save, and then another magnificent save from David Silva on rebound. Unfortunately, Tevez again persistent, played it back to Yaya Toure at the edge of the box. Perhaps someone could have marked Yaya Toure a bit better, but it was again that same left-handed side of the same goal actually that scored in the first half was accurately hit by Yaya Toure, and De Gea didn't have any chance after a great effort to keep the two previous attempts out anyway. And then after that, I still thought we played quite well, and we had a couple chances here and there. David De Gea with some magnificent saves, one particularly off David Silva that he saved with his shoulder. Some people say it will be luck, but he had to be there to even get his body in line and make the save. So I'll give credit to him, and I thought he had a magnificent day today overall because of how well he commanded the box, and we didn't look so nerving and back. So he definitely has proved his credentials for the number one shirt over this season, and I think Sir Alex has to decide sooner or later whether he sticks with De Gea or choose Lindegaard. Otherwise, we can have an unsettled defence once again, and the previous performances in the past few weeks might become evident. But in this game, thankfully, it didn't. But City, they're known for their kind of like comes back this season. And on the 86th minute, Zabaleta, after a corner Van Persie headed it, but only managed to head it back onto the edge of the box, where Zabaleta, again with an enormous amount of space, drilled it Scholes-esque into the bottom corner and leaving De Gea with no chance. What disappointing, like I said, it was the space that was left. But moments earlier, Valencia had pulled up after, cramp and all that. There was no one marking him, and that was the territory that Valencia had been assigned to mark. And I think if Valencia would have been there, then perhaps the goal wouldn't have went in. But Zabaleta, a sweet strike went through Phil Jones's legs, and nothing De Gea could have done about that. So at this moment, I thought we were rocking a bit, but Salex pulled off Tom Cleary, put on Danny Welbeck. I think he just thought now or never, if you like, and he had to go for it. And so but it's kind of like it faded out a little, I think, just because of the openness of the previous 88 minutes or whatever. Had taken a lot out of every player on the pitch, and you could see that. And on the 92nd minute, a simple ball back to Gael Clichy. He tried to he thought about passing it back to Joe Hart, who didn't want to take it. So Gael Clichy took it on the outside, but Danny Welbeck, credit to him, who after coming on, closing him down, nicked the ball from him, played back to Carrick, passed it to Raphael, and getting a free kick from Carlos Tevez. Then Robin Van Persie stepped up, and you know what? He got a winner. It was slightly deflected from Nasri, and Nasri, he should have took and just stood strong, but instead he just stuck out foot. Slight deflection, but I think Van Persie will still have the goal because it was going on target. And because of the slight deflection, and Joe Hart had committed himself to the other side, he couldn't recover in time. And that gave the Reds the 3-2 lead going to the last 60-second, and then a bit of unsavoury end to the game where Man City fans, they threw stuff at Rio Ferdinand while he's celebrating, and consequently that had left him with a cut above this left eye. And it's not nice to see anything like that because of how great the game is, and it's also going to overshadow the quality of both teams on display today because of the stupidity of a few people in a crowd that couldn't control their emotions. I know it's going to be hard to take because it is Manchester Derby and it is the two teams at the top of the league, but football is only a game, and you need to take into consideration of what you're doing at these football matches. So it's a shame to see that. But I thought it was a magnificent win for United. Obviously, Man City had a great record at home, 37 games unbeaten, and I thought it was a great performance that we had earned the victory at the Etihad today. And it was a stark contrast to this performance that we gave last season, where we gave up the title really without any fight or determination to get it back. So today it was a big proving point, and like I said at the beginning of the episode, that is a big psychological advantage to the Reds now going into this busy Christmas holiday, to keep the motivation up in order to maintain the 6 points lead. And that can only be good because it gives us the maximum chance to regain the league from City and get our 20th league title, hopefully. My man in the match would go to Wayne Rooney, who had a fabulous game. His work rate, and obviously his 2 goals as well, but his work rate stood out once again. He's developing into a very good transquister, and that number 10 role where he links midfield and attack. But again, his work rate was outstanding, filling in for right backs, left backs, whatever. You're going to get 100% of Rooney when he's fit and healthy. Van Persie did well again. David De Gea did great. I thought that he put his stamp down on the number 1 position, and I hope that Selex keep him for the next few weeks, just through this Christmas holiday period, in order to provide a bit of stability to the back. Tom Cleverley, Carrick was magnificent in midfield. Really shut down Yaya Toure before he can make any runs as well. The defending was good. So there was a great performance, and we seems to always produce in the big games this season. It's really pleasing to see. We now go to Sunderland, or Sunderland go to Old Trafford next week, and it's great news that we have Nemanja Vidic and Shinji Kagawa back, so two big players to add to the squad during this busy Christmas holiday period. And that can only be good because, because of the sheer amount of games, we need a big squad and a healthy squad to, win and, hopefully get the maximum points out of these coming up games. So, so there you guys have it for another episode of Match Report. I hope you like this video, guys, and please comment below on any of the topics and who would you play in goal, who was your man on the match today, etc. And also you can subscribe to the channel by clicking the button above. You can check me out at ManUnitedDaily.com, and as always, if you want to write an article for the site, please just contact me over or message me rather on YouTube. Then I'll put the article up, etc. So again, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.